because she keeps me on the straight and narrow.
Boy, oh boy, I feel it's an honor. It's an honor to be able to nag you every week.
Yeah, folks, if you're listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, we're talking about the song "Live and Let Die" by Paul McCartney and Wings. He did it for the and look it up. I want to know if it was 73, 74. That seems like around the time that would have come out. "Live and Let Die," Bond movie. Anyway, that song has been playing over in my head for the past 2 days because
73, which is why I wouldn't be as familiar with it because I was only just born.
Can you believe that I was able to peg that in my, come on, that's not bad, right? Because I can timestamp stuff in my life. Marcel Proust would have had a lot to say about me and how I'm now almost 60 years old, and I can go back to a moment in my life and remember something based on a song. Anyway, in this ever-changing world in which we live in, you just want to give in and cry. Those words have been going through my head now for the past couple of days. For several reasons. I have more vegans in social media saying I'm killing, and I'm telling people to eat rotted corpses, and I'm a killer, and I'm a denier of the planet and global warming and everything else. And it's like, wow, for a guy that's just trying to help people live, I sure do get to hear a lot about dying. Therefore, the song "Live and Let Die" is in my head, right? And it just makes no sense to me on any level that we're dealing with this in this world. And I'll tell you this, and what I'm getting ready to say, Anna, hang on. It's controversy. You ready for some controversy?
Yeah.
I just went and got my booster shot. Now, I get it. Some people are like,
boy.
"Oh, if you're Mr. Healthy, what are you doing putting that trash in your body?" Well, I decided to do this. Have you ever heard me say on this podcast once, I think anyone else should do it? I think everyone should make their own decisions. I don't believe, this is a free country. Number one, I chose to take a shot. And yes, you can send me all your stuff and go, "It's not approved." And did you read? Yeah, I read all the literature. And guess what else I did before I took the booster? The same as when I took the first 2 shots. I consulted not with 1, not with 2, not with 3, but with 4 different doctors. And none of these doctors, they're all MDs, and none of them know each other. Mm-hmm. And every single one of them said the first time around, and every one of them said for the booster, I said, "Is it worth it to get this booster?" We've heard about every now and then someone will get heart this and palpitations that and all this different stuff. We can't substantiate it because it's all just online crap. What is the truth behind this? And whenever you take any drug, it's like you have to weigh risk and reward. And all 4 doctors gave me one version of this or a similar version of this. And by the way, Anna, I don't think you and I have ever talked about it. I don't know if you've taken a shot or not. Do you?
Oh, I have.
Okay. So
I'm going to get my booster. I was supposed to get it today, but I have something I have to shoot tomorrow. So I'm going to get it next week.
Next week. Well, it was imperative that I get mine now if I was going to get it because I'm traveling abroad next week. And as I always say, folks, if you're planning on coming to my house to wreak havoc, I have 2 policemen. One works dog shift, meaning the nighttime shift. The other one works the daytime shift, and they switch off. I will have a cop at my house around the clock. So if you're thinking about shenanigans over at Vinny's place, and you'll notice that at least 50% of every day, you will see the cruiser parked right out front. I'm not messing around. There's too many people that want me dead and my house this and my dogs that. Fuck you. I got cops staying here. So
I don't understand why people want people dead. That's just insane to me.
Because I'm somehow ruining the world. So
I know, but if you disagree with what somebody says, nobody needs to die.
Yeah, look, someone wanted my address.
Sorry, folks. I know that's controversial.
A big fan and a guy I've spoken to a lot wrote to me today and said, "Hey, can I have your address? We want to send a Christmas card." And I had to say, man, I hope you understand, I can't give out my address. We spend a lot of money around here trying to stay protected, and that's just the way it is.
I gave him my address.
You gave that same guy your address?
Yeah.
Did his first name start with Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice guy, right?
I love him. I'm not. It's fine.
Yeah. So Anna, maybe he could send you my card and then you can ship it on to me.
I know he loves you.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy. At any rate, this whole idea, I took the shot. Why? Because all 4 doctors said the same thing. Vinny, you're a very healthy 59-year-old guy. We don't know anyone as healthy as you. Some version of that. I'm paraphrasing because I'm trying to make myself sound cooler than I am. But the bottom line is,
you're a healthy, hip, cool 59-year-old guy is what they all said unequivocally in agreement.
The female doctor,
cool.
The female doctor did say, and you're ripped. But, that's just the way it goes. And
that's how doctors talk, you guys.
Yeah. So I think she said something about smoke show. I wasn't really paying attention, yada, yada. Anyway, they all said some version of, listen, if you get COVID, I truly believe that you will live. What you don't want is long hauler syndrome, which can screw up your athletic career. It can screw up this, it can screw up that. And then my second question, I was like, okay, that's a really good reason to keep going with this booster for right now, right? What about long-term effects? They don't know how this drug, and listen, I know you hear a lot of stuff on the internet. I don't know how it works. I really don't care, right? This is no different than any other shot we've ever taken. The way they administered in some kind of molecular structure, some bullshit that I don't get, is different. This is the first time they've used that. But according to the 4 people I spoke to, you're safe. You got nothing to worry about. So, but if I said that online, people would go, I can't believe you, mister. I won't put anything bad in my body. Putting that trash in, it's what I chose to do. And by the way, while I was at it for the first time in a gazillion years, I got the flu shot too. So,
people are just going to say that anyway, and then they're going to boycott you and
fine.
And the ones that agree with you will say that you're preaching the word of the Lord. And it's like, no, everyone's just making their own decision and it's okay.
I'm not telling anyone to go get it. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to tell you to go get the shot. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
And by the way, if you disagree with Vinny doing it and you're not going to support his business, I suggest you look at all the other businesses that you support that people choose to get vaccinated or not vaccinated. Just saying, like, where does the line end?
Yeah. I don't think anyone's going to do that. But the bottom line is I'm here just to help people. And if they don't like what I'm doing, that's fine. I'm good with that. Move on.
That's true.
Move on. But
scroll on by, folks. But for the rest of you, we love you. Hello. Welcome to the show.
And here's the cool thing. If I die or I lose a limb or my cock falls off or something weird from taking these shots.
Or your balls become like Nicki Minaj's cousin's friend.
Yeah. Or whatever happened there. And by the way, I have the 3 balls. I still have
anything could happen down there.
By the way, Anna, I'm going to say this. My New Year's resolution, besides building a kayak, is getting Guam taken off.
Let's talk about that on the New Year's show.
Yeah.
Save it, Vin.
Write it down. Write it down.
Oh, I don't think I have to write down.
I won't remember.
You should remember that that's your New Year's resolution.
Yeah. When you ask me, I'll remember. So anyway, between that and putting a movie out, a movie where I asked all the top vegan doctors to be in it and got turned down. I'm always trying to bring everyone to the table here. Always, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't get there all the time. I don't get there even half the time. When you try to go out to these vegan doctors and go, hey, you have a lot to say. I want you to be represented in my next documentary. And they come up with every excuse. Why couldn't Tony Hampton come up with an excuse? Why couldn't Nina Teicholz or Dr. Mitlerner or Dr. Lacroix come up with a version of why they couldn't be in this movie? Every one of them right away, right? I couldn't get one vegan to sit down because I really think that they're afraid that they're going to be exposed. And I wasn't going to try to trick anyone. But they know that their beliefs and what they're talking about is so paper thin that they can't even answer the simple questions. The very simple questions they can't answer, right? It's got to go straight to ad hominem, but you're not a doctor. And what do you know? And how do you know? Oh, okay, fine.
Straw man.
Yeah, straw man. I love that now they're saying online that I'm taking money from oh, of course. You know who's supporting this movie? Blah, blah, blah. They're
who are they accusing you of taking money from?
Companies I've never heard of. I guess they're meat companies and this and that. I'm actually, I don't have the list here, but I'm jotting them down. So like, maybe I should go to these people and ask them for money.
Hey, you should get them to be sponsors.
Yeah, why not?
You're already being accused of it. Well, I wanted to bring this up because Lauren saw an article at yahoo.com this morning. And again, when we bring up these quote unquote news articles on the show, it's for illustrative purposes in the sense that I feel like these kind of dumbed down clickbait articles that are on this landing page of your email or your search engine or wherever you find them or your news site are oftentimes just fluff pieces to get people to read. And this one is no different because it uses a celebrity to get you to get hooked in, right?
Okay. Let me guess who the celebrity is. What's his name? Brad Pitt.
No.
Let me try again.
Sports.
Brad Garrett. No, he never plays sports. Sports. If Anna's bringing this up, it's got to be Cam Newton because he's a vegan.
No. But correct sport.
Okay. Who's in the news in sports?
Who's the guy who everybody always talks about? Nobody stops talking about this fucking guy.
We're talking football. Just give me the sport. Is it football?
Tom Brady.
It's Tom Brady. Yeah. If it's football, he's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time.
And I was surprised by this article because I thought Tom Brady was the low carb guy, which by the way, I have noticed because Megan asked me a while ago, she was like, you should Google low carb celebrities and target them to get on the podcast, you and Vinny. And I said, here's the problem that I found. People change what they eat so much. Nobody really wants to identify with a thing. And if people were smart, they wouldn't identify with vegan either because they change their minds. And that's okay. That's your right as a human to be omnivorous and figure out what you want to eat. But so when people, but I did say, well, Tom Brady's always kind of known as a low carb guy. So I was really surprised.
Before you even get into it.
Does that make sense? Do you agree with me?
Right. I just want to put a sharper point on your pencil. I worked with a lot of celebrities. I'm not going to mention this woman's name. I mentioned that as a woman, but she was a pretty big deal. And I used to get hired because this is one of those actresses that would put on a lot of weight and then lose a lot of weight and put on a lot of weight. So I'm not even narrowing it down by doing that. I know everyone's sitting there going, is it Kirsty? Or is it, what's her name from Married to the Rock Star? Valerie Bertinelli?
Right.
Who is, there's a lot of them out there that gained and lost a lot of weight. And whenever they gained a lot of weight, you would see them in the tabloids. Whenever they lost a lot of weight, you would see them with the Weight Watchers ad or some other kind of ad. One of those actresses, they would use me, right? Mm-hmm. And I felt like such a fraud. And as a matter of fact, the last time they asked me to do it, I was already doing this podcast. And I said, you know what? I can't take that check anymore. I cannot take that check because I always felt like my job was to make the client healthy, but they would always go back to their bad ways. So whoever the person was, and I think you know who the person is, right? We've talked about her before. I would get a ton of weight off of and it's not Margaret Cho, folks. She's never done that. I would get a ton of weight off of this woman. And then I would go watch the ads. It's like, hey, if you join Weight Watchers today, look at me. I've lost 38 pounds in 1 month just by doing their special 30 pounds in 1 month program or whatever the bullshit is. Right. And I would see those commercials and I would feel like a fake and a liar. And I would go, well, it's not me faking and lying. But then at some point I felt like I was a part of it because when I was taking the weight off of said actress each time, in my mind, I was making her healthy because all of her metrics were changing. Her A1Cs were coming down. Her blood glucose was coming down. She was losing a ton of weight. She was out of trouble. And then the lie would go on television. So that made me part of the lie. Right. Until the last time when they called me up and said, hey, you're up again. And I said, no. And as they always do, we'll double your pay, which is a big check. I had to grin and grit my teeth and go, no, I don't think so. Can't do it. Right. I've been part of that until I wasn't. And I said, I can't lie anymore. I can't do that because I'm now doing this. Right. So I know it from that level. I know it goes on. I was behind the scenes, folks.
You know, what's interesting about that is that folks won't come clean about what they're doing to lose the weight because they're going to lose out on financial opportunities because frankly, what you and I are selling is not profitable for big companies. And like I was asked to do some integrations for a popular food television network.
I wonder what. I wonder which one that one could be.
This is a few years ago, and
was it the NASCAR network?
No. Do they do food on NASCAR?
Oh, do they?
I don't know. No, I don't know.
You said it's a food network. Let's see.
It's a popular network that has food on it.
YouPorn. They do a lot of eating.
That's a category.
Yeah.
No, and they basically, it kind of got stymied because they were like, yeah, we can't get one of our sponsors. They're like, maybe Philly cream cheese. Can you do something with Philly cream cheese? I was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course I can. And it was interesting because it kind of just got stymied and kind of died in the water because I wasn't like, do rice or do flour or do whatever the Pillsbury dough or whatever the thing is. That becomes, those are the people who pay the big bucks to have the people on the TV doing the things. And I was just doing integrations too, by the way. It wasn't like I was pitching a show. And so it's funny because people are always like, when are you going to do a cooking show? I was like, I do a cooking show every Tuesday afternoon on Instagram Live.
Yeah.
Tune in there. Because until I'm able to develop something bigger or get a budget for something, I'm just fine in my nice, beautiful kitchen that I've remodeled to be filming stuff in. And it'll be the same as what I would do on TV. And you don't have to cut the commercial. There you go. But yeah, no, it's interesting that people don't want to sit because they don't. And I get that. You don't want to lose the opportunity. I interviewed a friend of mine who's a food producer and a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to put that up soon. But she was basically talking about having to make low carb versions of things because she'll be the person on set when they go to eat the Thanksgiving dinner. She'll cook the Thanksgiving dinner, but this one is vegan and that one is gluten-free and this one is doing low carb. And she was doing something for a scene where an actor had lost like 150 pounds doing low carb. And they wanted him to, but he's still a really big guy. And they wanted him to eat an entire piece of cake.
Wow.
In the set. And then of course you have to make a bunch of pieces of that cake. And they were like, and she was basically like, why are you making him do that? He's a food addict and it's could reawaken him. So she made him a cake because her job is she can figure out how to make anything, right? She's a producer of like food segments and she'll decide like what the challenge is on MasterChef or Top Chef. She's really high level, but so she's working on this movie set and she makes a cake that has monk fruit in it. And she just basically had to apologize to the guy. She's like, I know that this hopefully won't get you re-addicted to sugar, but it will make you have diarrhea. Like it's going to give you an upset stomach. Like she knew that it was that going into
it. It's very sad.
And it's just so weird that you don't think about it because I remember auditioning for a KFC commercial. And this is probably a couple years into us doing the podcast. And they asked her on camera, they're like, are you willing to eat the product on camera? I was like, yep. Like, cause I needed the job. I was like, yep, I'll eat it on camera. Like I have no shame in my game.
Oh, look,
Anna, now I wouldn't do it, but then, yeah,
you had to do it. But you see, with me, it was a lot of money, and it was around that time when the economy sucked. I needed the money, and I know I had to turn down a huge check. Oh, by the way, stay tuned, folks, because I will give my Anna Vocino eggnog update in just a few minutes after we talk about this Tom Brady thing.
Okay, ready for
wait, before, no, but
go ahead.
Before you go there, I want to sharpen that pencil just a bit more. Do well, you're a ballerina, but you know who Sylvie Guillaume is, or
Yeah.
what? She still is. She's about my age, so she's still around. Sylvie Guillaume was the GOAT. She's a prima ballerina. She's French. I mean, she was the belle of the ball in ballet forever. She's built like a brick shit house. This woman looks great. And at some point, Sylvie went vegan towards the end of her career or whatever. And, but she was pretty much out of competition. Now you got to understand, not competition, but being part of performing.
Being a principal ballerina,
being a principal. Anna will tell you, you're like Tom Brady. You're always on it. But she became a vegan, and the vegans picked up on it and went, you see, people say you can't be a great athlete without, without meat. And I love that Sylvie came back at some point and said, look, I became a vegan for my own personal reasons. But the truth be known, the entire time I was competing, I was a meat eater.
Performing.
Yeah, performing.
Right.
She was a meat eater. So I give that woman so much credit. But again, our generation, we don't let a lie stand. We'll go, look, that's not exactly what happened.
Right.
I ate meat throughout my whole career. I just decided to become a vegan, and her career was waning anyway. You can't stay at that show forever. It's just too grueling.
Right.
So Tom Brady is one of these guys that, in case you're not a football fan, he's not only dreamy to look at, and he's not only gotten every record I think you could get.
I was going to say, he's the GOAT of quarterbacks.
Yeah. There's very few in this category. The guy that just finished last year, Drew Brees, is in that category. There's a few other people. I don't think anyone has the records. The Manning, Peyton Manning is in that category. It's a very, very short list. But Tom Brady is exceeding. He's basically, every time he walks on the field, he's breaking one of his old records at this point, because no one has stayed in the game as long as him and perform as well as he does. So you need to understand that Tom Brady's an incredible athlete. Now, last we heard, Tom Brady was, pretty much low carb. He was eating a lot of meat, and he was eating a lot of vegetables. He stayed away from grains. He stayed away from sugar and that sort of thing. So is this an update on that, Anna?
Yep.
Okay.
So an article came out on something called Insider, which was then picked up by Yahoo News. And it says, and what I don't understand is who talked to Tom Brady and actually got this quote. And it's confusing because it looks like Tom Brady's coming out with a big announcement. But when you read closer, it's like, did he actually say this, or is this somebody just making this up?
Well, let's hear it.
Okay, here's the title of the article. Tom Brady says he's 80% vegan, but still eats meat, and nutritionists say more people should eat that way. First of all, that's the title of the article.
Okay, what is 80% vegan? You can't be 80% vegan and eat meat. So are we saying that 80% of his diet is vegetation and 20% is meat?
Well, let me continue to read and let's see. So then it's doing this new thing that articles do. Have you noticed this on the internet? It gives you 3 bullet points of what's in the article. So you basically don't even have to read the article if you don't want to, because nobody reads an article anymore.
Right.
So the 3 bullet points are: Tom Brady said he follows the 80-20 rule, meaning 80% of his plate is plant-based and 20% is meat. This is one of Brady's lifestyle habits that have allowed him to play in the NFL at the age of 44. Nutritionists say that following the 80-20 rule might be even healthier than being fully vegan. Those are the 3 bullet points at the top.
Can I comment already?
Yeah.
Before you go on, if you have on your plate, I'm just going to mention 3 vegetables: broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts. That's 3 vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a slab of meat. Let's say you have a T-bone sitting there. Mm-hmm. All right. So you can say that the T-bone is 1 food item.
Mm-hmm.
That's 25%. And I just came up with 7. If you add up the 3 vegetables, that's 75%. even though the caloric intake of the T-bone is the majority of the meal, let's call it 80% of the meal. You see how you can lie right there without you even going into the rest of the article. I'm at 70 with 3 vegetables and a meat on the plate. I'm at 75% right there. I'm at 75-25. But are we going by ounces? Because I've seen Tom Brady. He doesn't look like he's living on mostly vegetables. Vegans don't look like him. Go on, Anna.
So this is where things get really, really. So the Yahoo News article is what probably most people will read because they'll go check their Yahoo Mail and they'll say, "Oh, Tom Brady. Oh shit, he went vegan. Oh my God, let me read that. I thought he was a low carb guy." Right. So then you click on if you were to go deeper, you would click on the actual Insider article, right? And then if you're to go deeper, there's 2 more places that you can even go. Let me just open this link in a new tab because this will blow your mind. So beginning to read this article, let me read the first 3 paragraphs, which don't worry, each paragraph is just a sentence because again, nobody could read anything of length anymore. So let me read the first 3 sentences.
That's why I won't write another book, folks, but go on.
I love reading books. Okay. Tom Brady follows the 80-20 rule, meaning 80% of his dish is plant-based, made up of vegetables or rice and grains, and the other 20% is made up of lean protein like fish or chicken. Brady, who is leading the NFL in passing yards and touchdowns at the age of 44, says the diet helps him stay fit as he gets older, according to a post from his wellness brand, TB12. There's a link to his post there. And I open that in a new window. I'm going to get to that in a second. I want to see what he actually said in that post. Okay.
Okay.
The third sentence is veganism is known to offer health benefits like improvements to gut health, reduced inflammation, and lowered risk of certain diseases, according to the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. And Vinny, you better believe I Googled Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. And do you want to hear what I saw?
Wait. Give me their initials.
PCRM.
Okay. PCRM.
Now, when I go to physicians...
Hang on. Yeah, PCRM. If you guys remember, we've had this guy on the show several times, a guy named Tom Naughton. He did a little film called Fathead. He does a lot of cartoons about PCRM. It is a vegan propaganda organization, period.
Let me tell you, when you land on Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, the first thing you see are animals, a dog and a monkey in cages. So I go, well, that's interesting. I thought this was about humans, but that's disturbing to see those images.
Right.
Then you scroll down and it's about ethical science and COVID-19 safety and efficacy vaccines, ethical international conference on nutritional medicine. And then finally, I have an About Us tab. So I click the About Us tab and I see our friend doing a video, Mr. Barnard, Dr. Barnard.
Yep.
Neil Barnard, MD, president. Yeah. Okay. So I can already tell if it's geared towards nutrition and the first thing you see are animals locked in cages, it's already like makes your heart skip a beat and go, oh, wait, this isn't what it says it's going to be.
Right.
Okay. Number 2. So those were the first 3 sentences of the article. And it said 80% vegetables or grains, 20% meat. Well, now I click on the post from Tom Brady's health and wellness brand where he claims this stuff, where he supposedly says I eat 80% vegan and 20% meat.
Look at Anna doing investigative reporting.
TB12sports.com, little plug there for Mr. Mann's thing.
Yeah.
And the title of this post on December 5th by the TB12 team, Tom's Game Day Nutrition Routine.
Good.
Tom follows the 80-20 rule. Fill 80% of your plate with plant-based foods such as vegetables and grains, and the remaining 20% with lean protein like wild-caught fish or organic chicken. And then it's followed by a picture that looks about 80% chicken, let's say 70% chicken and 30% lentils and kale.
Right. So there you
By
have
the way,
it.
lentils and kale are not the same as grains. I know it's legumes, but it's not the same.
Right. And Anna, was I correct at the beginning that they were, this is all a fucking hit piece. It's just a hit piece.
Yep.
He's not vegan at all. You cannot look like Tom Brady. You cannot perform.
He's not vegan at all.
He's not vegan at all. And PCRM is a piece of shit. The organization, they're tied to PETA. They're tied to all of this stuff. And, no one ever goes after that. But boy, they have money to get these articles placed next to Tom Brady. I wonder if Tom Brady knows that his name is put next to theirs. I wonder if he's interested.
He probably has no idea. But let me go on to read what this actual article says too. Breakfast. Tom starts his day with the aptly named Tom's favorite smoothie, which is loaded with blueberries, banana, seeds, nuts, and whey protein. Okay. On later game days, and this is where it's so beautiful that it's not even close to being vegan. This is just chef's kiss perfection. On later game days, Tom will have another meal full of protein and healthy fats before heading to the stadium. His favorite is avocado and eggs. Eggs are rich in protein and vitamins, which help prepare his body for performance, and healthy fats to help support the heart, cholesterol, and overall health. Now, if I go to PCRM's website and there's a down, the very first navigation bar is good nutrition. I tap that. And one of the things it says nutrition information. Oh, eggs. I tap eggs. This is at PCRM.org. I tap eggs. Health concerns with eggs. Eating eggs can be hazardous to your health. The fat and cholesterol found in eggs can harm heart health and lead to diabetes, as well as prostate and colorectal cancers.
Isn't it interesting?
On and on and on. So I'm confused. Tom Brady eats eggs, and then PCRM says eggs are bad.
But Anna, you know who's not confused?
You and me.
No, you're confused because you went down the rabbit hole of looking up PCRM and Tom Brady's website. Mm-hmm. You know how many people will actually do that? Less than zero.
Oh, I know. They're going to read that Yahoo article and never click through anything.
They're going to read the first three things and go, I should eat 80% vegetables and 20. And then they're going to call me and go, Vin, look, I was doing NSNG, but then I read something and told me to go do this. But this is a lie. This is a lie, folks.
Let me go on to tell you what else Tom eats in the day.
Go on.
Before the game, Tom continues to sip on electrolyte-infused water, eats a plant-based kale Caesar salad with crunchy chickpeas, and drinks a pre-game protein shake. Right after the game, he drinks another plant-based protein shake. Then his favorite post-game meal is roasted wild salmon with lentils and veggies. With his dinner, he takes a TB12 Recover, I don't know what that is, and continues to hydrate.
Sure he's selling bullshit.
And as a treat, he often enjoys a few squares of antioxidant-rich dark chocolate. And then they have a picture of, guess what? 2 beautiful salmon fillets with vegetable. It's just vegetables, actually. I don't even see lentils. It's just a roasted cauliflower and some spinach or green leafy thing with some pesto. By the way, I've not seen a grain or a sugar on this page.
Anna, can you go look something up for me on TB12? I want to know if they're selling both whey protein and a veggie protein, because they keep talking about the shake.
Yeah, I think they are. Let me see.
They got to be selling the protein, powder, right? And by the way, folks, don't go buy this stuff, because if it tastes good, that means they're putting shit in it.
They have a plant-based protein, and they have protein bars, and they have a whey protein isolate.
Yeah, great. Because I listen when Anna speaks, and she, for breakfast, he was having this Tom Brady whey protein shake. And then he does the Tom Brady, pea protein shake. And I'm going, why is he switching up from out of all the bastardized proteins you can use, whey is the best one. It absorbs better than any other. Why would he go to a lesser protein? Oh, that's right. Because he fucking sells it.
Right. Of
He's
course.
selling this shit.
No, it has links. It has links to his products throughout the thing where it says what he eats. But I just want to point out that he's eating plenty of animal products all day long. He's not stopped eating animal products in addition to his plant protein products that he's selling.
Right.
And there's nary a sugar or grain anywhere on there. So I would look at that and go, that's pretty low carb. And he adds in some legumes. That's
Anna,
what it looks like to me.
Can you imagine?
Not vegan. at all.
Anna?
Yeah.
Let's say I'm a really healthy looking 59-year-old, right? And
your doctor says you're ripped. You're a smoke show.
Well, you've seen me. You know what I look like, right? You've seen me without a shirt on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. So if I started doing the thing where I took my shirt off, like a lot of these guys do, right? And people go, oh my God, the old man with the gray beard, look at him. And he's 59. Oh my God. Okay. And then I sent you to my site and said, hey, you want to look like me? You got to get the NSNG 12. Protein.
I'm in. I'm going to fucking buy it.
Here's what I have every morning. I put blueberries, raspberries, a banana, and the NSNG 12 whey protein in the blend. And then the link goes to it. And then for lunch, I have some eggs and some avocado. But for dinner, I have myself the pea protein, NSNG pea protein 12.
Yeah.
And a link to it. People will go,
but yours has to be the 13 because it has to be one better than Tom Brady's. It's the NSNG 13.
Yes. You see, that's why I keep you hanging around, Anna.
I know. Branding. I'm a branding expert.
NSNG 13, pea protein and whey protein. Everybody would go, Vinny's a big fucking shill, right? Look at it. And they would be right. They would be absolutely right.
But nobody says that about Tom Brady. They're all like, he's the GOAT.
Tom Brady's like, wait, he's the GOAT? He's fucking a supermodel? Wait, I'm fucking better than a supermodel because guess what there are less of in the world? Bond girls. Okay? There are more supermodels and playmates in the world than Bond girls. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. But the way the world's working, I'm sure we're going to have Bond guys pretty soon too. And Bond theys and its. But that's a whole different story for a different day. What I'm getting at here is if I did that and went, hey, look what I look like, and I had pictures of Serena next to me in a bikini because at 60, she can still rock a bikini, you guys would go, oh, look at Vinny Schilling. But when you're the GOAT,
I kind of feel like you should do that for your nut butters. You need to have your shirt off and holding your nut butters just so over your man meats.
You know what? I'm going to let my beard grow long, like really long.
ZZ Top?
Yeah, like ZZ Top style. And then I'm going to go, oh, they'll go, look at the old man, but he must do testosterone or something. No, I don't. And yeah, you know what, Anna? That's what I need to do. I'm going to get rich. I'm tired of being poor.
I really think you should start shilling. Why wouldn't you start shilling?
I'm going to start shilling, Anna. I'm shilling. Folks.
Here's the one. Wait, hold on real quick. The one good thing about the article is it does say about veganism. It goes on to say, but it can cause complications as well, meaning veganism. For one, it makes getting dependable sources of protein more difficult, and it can deprive the body of nutrients like calcium and iron. One study published in September 2019 found that vegetarians might be at higher risk for stroke. So at least it's saying do both, I guess. But
yeah, because they're trying to play the middle. But the fact that they went to PCRM leads me to believe, Anna, I want to talk about your eggnog, folks. We're keeping I want the audience to know what's going on. Anna and I are doing a show today.
Yeah.
Today is the 1999th show. The Wednesday show will also have Anna Vocino. It'll be the episode 2000, and I want Anna Vocino to be part of that. So we'll be doing that on Wednesday. Anna is coming back on Friday of this week, and we're doing the Christmas show. That show, every year it drives the audience nuts, but they love it. It's a love it nuts.
We'll be drinking.
We drink. And we do the 12 days of Christmas. And I rant about it. And Anna, I make her take out the notepad every year, just in case people forgot, because we got to keep adding up all the pigeons and turtle doves and partridges and everything else. We add up all the birds and the maids.
Incredible amount of fowl.
Yeah, there's a lot of maids of milking. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of mammary gland in this whole.
Save it for the show.
Yeah. So you got to tune in for that show on Friday. And then if you think you've had enough of Anna, the following Monday, she's coming right back. She'll be right back.
What we do.
Yeah. And then that Friday, we're going to do the New Year's Eve show. And we do that every year. And I think that's a drinking show too. So folks.
And then the New Year's, the January 3rd show is going to be when everybody comes back.
Yeah. So we have a lot of shows. It's going to be
shows to do.
It's like me and Anna, like the good old days. She's here like all the time coming up for the next several weeks. So you guys want more of Anna? You got her. Anna, do a quick Villa Cappelli ad, and then I want to talk about your eggnog and tell you how that worked out. We talked about it last week on Monday.
Great. Villa Cappelli is the best olive oil on the planet. Steven and I have put together an Eat Happy gift basket. You get the marinara, you get the cookbook, you get a Villa Cappelli, you get the spices. It's a gift collection. I think gift baskets, it's kind of irrelevant now because we don't send a basket to your doorstep anymore.
Right. We send a box. You get a
collection
box.
Right. But it has the best olive oil on the planet. And let me tell you what, I am currently out of the best. I used it up yesterday when I was making my spaghetti squash bolognese, and I'm very upset about it. And Steven, he needs to send me a 3-liter tin pronto. I need to write him. I'm going to write him some hate mail at Christmas. Give me some 3-liter tin. You guys need to get your hands on a 3-liter tin. Let me see what's in stock here besides the Eat Happy gift collection.
And while she's looking it up, folks, I use this product in my vitamin D3 with
and I use it in my sauce.
Yeah, and Anna uses it in her sauce. And because when you're making the best vitamins and the best sauce in the world, you want to source the best product. And we use Villa Cappelli. And
do you ever worry that like for example, when Paul passed away, Stephen could have stopped the business and then we would have been screwed because we would have had to I don't know. I just would shut the whole thing down.
Yeah.
That's how much I believe in this product.
Yeah, we thought we would have to find another source and it was bothering me.
It still does bother me. Like it's really scary.
Yeah.
So, and also too, they sell out very quickly. We keep them sold out, but right now they have the 3-liter tins. They have the 750 milliliter bottles, and you should get your hands on them. They have a few of the flavored oils left. They make great presents. I think if you order this today on Monday, you still have some time to get some things by Christmas time, but don't fall asleep on the sea salt. The herb sea salt, the grilling salt is incredible. Any of their spice mixes, they're pulverized powders are fresh and legit, and you need to get some. So get Villa Cappelli, go to villacappelli.com or click the banner ad at vinnietortorich.com. Use the discount code Vinnie, VINNIE. You're going to get 10% off your order every single time. Makes a great gift. Hello. Yeah, do that.
Anna, I want to talk about your eggnog. You gave me the recipe.
Yes, I talked it out with you last week.
As it turns out, I didn't follow it exactly.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Couple of things. I followed everything except when I put in, I think you said put 4 egg yolks.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, I really strained them. It was just a yolk. And I went, it doesn't look like enough. So I put a 5th one.
That's fine.
And I went, it didn't look like enough. So I put a 6th one.
How thick was this eggnog?
Well, I did that, and boy, I really whipped it up good. I whipped it with the whisk. I didn't go to the mechanic, to the electric thing. I did it really good.
Yeah.
And I did the thing where you everything just put like 1 tablespoon at a time and mix it. I did everything to perfect.
Tempered the eggs so that you didn't scramble them by accident. Yeah.
And then I put them all together, and I did the 8 minutes, but the 8 minutes might have gone on for 10 or 12.
Yes, because you had more egg yolks, so it was going to take longer. Yes.
Well, Serena came by and she goes, I think it's done. I did a little video on my Instagram. Serena goes,
it looked done when you were stirring it.
Yeah. But after that, I went on for a few more minutes. Well, I ended up making a custard, even though I put the tea towel in there and I let it touch and everything. And I did everything you told me to do exactly.
Well, it sounds like it worked then. You just went rogue and added 2 extra yolks.
I must have cooked it too long because it congealed and it became a custard.
Yeah.
And boy, even though I didn't get to drink eggnog, I had the world's best custard.
Did you mix in the vanilla and the bean and the cinnamon before it hardened up?
Oh, yeah.
You had like a proper vanilla custard.
Oh, yeah. I had a vanilla custard, and there was a little nutmeg in there too. I put just a little hit, just a little,
Yeah.
I just, how you kind of do it sideways.
Yeah. Just a dusting.
Yeah. And I mixed it all in, and Anna.
So remember how I told you to use 12 egg yolks if you wanted a thick custard? That was way too much. That would be the thickest egg yolk.
Yeah, it would be. But boy, this was so good. And what I did, it was cream on cream crime because there was a lot of cream in there.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would do is, we have one of those things where you put your heavy cream in it and you screw the top on and you put the CO2 cartridge on it.
Whoa.
You know what I'm talking about? Like the chefs have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I saw
you were whipping cream with the CO2 cartridge.
Yeah, I was whipping cream with the CO2. And every time I went to get some of that for dessert, it was actually a meal. Like one day I had to get on my bike and it's like,
all it is eggs and cream. There's no sugar in there. You can eat it for a meal.
I hadn't eaten breakfast that morning and I did a bunch of stuff. It was like 2 PM. I said, you know what? I want a little something before I get on my spinner for 2 hours. I went in there. I threw some in a thing, the custard, put my whipped cream on top. Boom.
I'm going to go make some right now. That sounds so good.
Anna, I'm telling you, I'm going to start doing this on a regular basis year round. It's like, why not have this?
Yeah. Vanilla custard's the best. And you know what I'm going to do, Vin, so I'm glad that you brought this up, because the reason why I did it with 4 egg yolks is because you need it to be a little runnier, because it will set up a little bit in the kitchen. You need it to be runnier so that when you pour it back out and have a little eggnog, it's a drink and not a meal.
Right. Yeah.
So I like that you just only added 2 and it turned into a full on.
It was a little runny on the bottom. And
did you put the alcohol in before you put it in the fridge? Or
no, I never put alcohol in it at all. I figured I would mix the alcohol whenever I wanted it with alcohol.
Well, no, you actually put the alcohol in before you put it in the fridge, and that's what keeps it thinner. It's okay.
I messed up.
You didn't mess up.
No, it was a happy mistake because I'm thinking if I put like 7 or 8 with that same recipe, I can just have this stuff sitting around in my fridge. Folks, I don't know if this is good or not, but I kept it for 3 days and
that's fine.
Had it over 3 days, and
that's fine.
It worked like a charm. And,
Vinny, let me tell you this, because here's the thing. People are very afraid of custards or egg creams or, my lime tart is another version of that, where you put lime zest and lime juice in it. So it's like a lime custard. You could do it with lemon. That's how a lemon meringue pie is made, right?
Right.
And so you can do all these variations. You could do one with just 100% cocoa powder in there mixed in, and you have that, and you're not putting any sugar in there. And it's kind of a nice way to get that kind of creamy sensation. I like custards. I like puddings. So to me, doing that is really nice. But I've been getting reports from people who've messed up the custard, and I don't think they're tempering the eggs correctly. But also too, when you pour it through the metal strainer, that's part of how you just weed out, because everybody gets a couple little bits of cooked egg in there.
Oh, I ate that too, by the way.
Good for you.
Because I was waiting for the other stuff to set up, and I ate all of that, and I went, oh, this is delicious.
Yeah, you can still eat it for sure. But that's why you pour it through the metal strainer. And but I'm going to do, I think my Instagram live next week, I'll do the process so people can see it. Because once you do it once or twice, you got it. It's easy.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I explained it. I'm glad I go back and listen to the Monday show if you didn't hear it. If you want to make a custard/eggnog, and it explains that whole process, and then forever, you now know how to do that.
Anna will tell you, I didn't even call her afterwards. It was all written on a piece of paper.
I was waiting for a call.
Yeah. And I just followed my, she gave it on the Monday show. I was writing it down as she went. I think I might've asked 1 or 2 questions. I just went in the kitchen right away while it was still fresh in my mind and did it. And
you're a chef.
What a happy mistake, because it turned out better than, because look, if I would have turned it into eggnog, I would have ended up, I think Dave the kayaker, Dave Dolak came over to watch some football, and I would have served that. And, hey, you want some liquor? And we would have had liquor and with it and the whole thing. This way, I don't think I've had liquor now in the whole week of any sort. I need to jump on that tonight. And, get back to my liquor game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have had liquor with that. And then the next night I would have gone, oh, it's eggnog. I need to put some booze in it again. I would have probably gone through a half a thing of Maker's Mark. And in this case, I used it as pre-workout meals. Once when I went to the gym, the first time was on the spinner. The second time was I went out to the gym. I do that from time to time. Folks, you want to go check out everything she's doing. You still, Anna, do they have time to get your stuff before Christmas?
Yeah, if you order it today, there's time, but books are always obviously fast from Amazon. Go to annavicino.substack.com. You can get that recipe. Plus the sausage cheddar balls are now out. By the way, I challenge anybody to go to a Christmas party anywhere and try to have sausage cheddar balls without biscuit dough or Pillsbury or Bisquick or whatever holding them all together. This recipe is so freaking good. Tastes just like a sausage cheddar ball at the party. No sugars, no grains.
Go check out that.
Go to Substack.
Go do everything Anna's got over there. She's got the sauce. She's got the gravy. She's got everything. She is fresh and she's exciting, folks. So go check it out.
I like that song now.
I'm going to have to find it. Folks, if you like what's going on here, you know what to do. We all go to Amazon. Before you go to Amazon, please go to VinnieTortorich.com. Click through the banner. We also have a superfan page. I saw a few people come in today. I see whoever is putting up a new thing on Superfan. I see it. So thank you guys for doing that. I can't thank you enough. So thank